Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome to class 8 students. Today we'll be learning a new lesson in English language, and that is the prepositions. Yes, so we all are familiar with what are prepositions, right? Yes, we know that prepositions are those words which shows the relations between the nouns or pronouns. Clear? And it's a part of speech. So here look at the first sentence. There is a cow in the field. So here we have a cow and the field. So how are we relating this to each other? With the use of in. So this in is connecting the cow and the field together. Similarly, he is fond of tea. So here what do we find here? Yes, we find that he is a pronoun and tea is also a noun. Here, how are we connecting both of them? With the word of, which is called as a preposition. So here, what did we see in the sentence 1? The word in shows the relation between two things, that is cow and the field. Similarly, in the second, the word of shows the relation between the attribute expressed by the adjective fond and tea. So here we are understanding that the words which are relating nouns and two nouns together, or it's relating a pronoun with the noun or vice versa, that is called as a preposition. So which are the two prepositions we just read now? One is in, the other is of. So similarly, the definition of preposition goes like this. A preposition is a word placed before a noun or pronoun to show in what relation the person or thing denoted by it stands in regard to something else. This means how two nouns or two pronouns or a noun or pronoun are related to each other. So here the word preposition means that which is placed before. Pre in the sense before. So a preposition means a word which is placed before the noun or pronoun. Clear? So now, the noun or pronoun which is used with a preposition, it is called as its object. So here, any noun or pronoun used with a preposition, what do we call it as? We call it as an object. It is the accusative case and is said to be governed by the preposition. For thus, in the sentence 1, the noun is noun, field is in the accusative case governed by the preposition in. So here, look in the sentence 1. There is a cow in the field, right? So here, where is the preposition? It is placed before the noun, the field. Hence, this in is governing, is ruling the field. This is telling that there is a relation between the cow and the field. And this means that the cow is in the field. Understanding the word is in, called as preposition, shows the relation between the cow and the field. This means a preposition is placed before the noun and it governs the noun. Clear? And then, a preposition may have two or more objects, for as the road runs over hill and plain. Clear? So here any preposition can have two objects. Here which are the two objects? Hill and plain. Preposition here is over. So we are talking about the road and we are talking about hill and plain. Hill and plain are the two objects here. The road is also a noun here. So we are talking about the relation between the road and hill and plain. Clear? So how is it connected? It is related with this preposition over, and this over is coming before the noun, and hence this is governing hill and plain. Clear? And then a preposition is usually placed before its object, but sometimes it follows it as here is the watch that you asked for. So in previous sentences we learned that prepositions come before the objects, right? But here where can you find the preposition? Yes, we find that the preposition here in this sentence, it is at the end, right? Here we have the object in the beginning and preposition is at the end. So here, when the object is the relative pronoun, that as in sentence 1, if the object is a relative pronoun, then the preposition is always placed at the end. So when do we place the preposition at end? When this object becomes a relative pronoun. Pronouns are used instead of a noun. So when we use the object instead of a noun, then preposition should always be used at the end. Clear? And then the prepositions for, from, in, on are often omitted before nouns of place or time. So whenever there are prepositions for, from, in, on, we do not use them before nouns of place or time. Whenever we talk about any place or time, what do? We don't use any kind of prepositions. For example, we did it last week. So do we use any preposition here? No. Then I cannot walk a yard. Wait a minute. So here we do not find any kind of preposition. Why? Because we are talking about time here. Yard is a place here. Last week is again the time which is over. Understanding? Now let us learn the kinds of prepositions. The prepositions can be arranged in following classes. The first kind of prepositions are simple prepositions, compound prepositions, and phrase prepositions. So what is simple preposition? Prepositions like at, by, for, from, in, of, and so on. These are the common prepositions which we use in our daily life, right? So these kind of prepositions are called as simple. But what do we understand by compound? Compound means, yes, which are generally formed by prefixing a preposition. So any preposition, any word which is formed by adding a preposition. And where do we add it? Before the word. For example, no, usually A is equal to no or B is equal to by. To a noun, an adjective or an adverb. So where do we add a preposition? We add it to a noun, to an adjective or to an adverb. Example, see here, about. Out is the word here. We are adding AB, about. Above, across, along. See, cross. If we add A, it becomes across. This becomes a preposition. And so on. It can be within, without, underneath, outside, and so on. So prepositions which are added to nouns, adjectives, or an adverb. Where do we add the prepositions? We add it before these nouns, adjectives, or adverbs. These kind of prepositions are called as compound prepositions. So now let us know what are phrase prepositions. So here the definition goes, group of words used with the force of a single preposition. So now we know phrase is an incomplete sentence, right? So in this incomplete sentence, we use a preposition. Hence that sentence, incomplete sentence, becomes a prepositional phrase. Example, according to. So here to is a preposition. So here we are adding the word according. So hence this becomes a phrase here. And what kind of phrase? We have a preposition here, so it becomes a phrase preposition. Similarly, in comparison to, in favor of, in front of, in order to, in lieu of, and so on. Understood? Now in our daily lives, we use certain words similar at the same point as a preposition and at the same point as a adverb. So see, what are they? When it is an adverb, we tell it as go and run about. But when it is a preposition, how do we tell? Don't loiter about the street. So here about is talking about loitering and the street. That is, you're not supposed to loiter in the street. And this is showing the relation between two. But here in an adverb, go and run about. It is talking about more meaning given about running and going. Clear? Similarly, I could not come before. Here we have before as a preposition. But when you've taken it in the form of adverb, you're telling that you couldn't come a little early. But here, I came the day before yesterday. So you're talking about the day and yesterday. So you're talking about the day before yesterday. Hence, before becomes a preposition here. Clear? Similarly, has he come in? In is a prepositional word, right? But here when you're talking about adverb, you're talking, has he come inside? Similarly, when you're taking it in the prepositional form, is he in his room? So we are talking about he and his. How are we relating them? With the prepositional word in. Understanding the difference now, from this we get to know that prepositions can simultaneously be used as an adverb and as a preposition. Clear? Now based on all this, we will do the exercise. So look in exercise 64. Name the prepositions in the following sentences and tell the word in which each governs. First one, little Jack Horner sat in a corner. So here we have little Jack Horner and we have a corner. How is it related? It is related with the word in. So this is the preposition, underline in. And what is it governing? It is governing the corner. So you should write underline corner and write governed. Clear? Here we have object. Corner has become the object and preposition has come before it. So hence it is governing it. Similarly, old Mother Hubbard, she went to the cupboard. So here, old Mother Hubbard went to the cupboard. So how is it related? With the word to. So underline to, and what is it governing? It is governing the cupboard. Clear? Similarly, when you look in the third one, the lion and the unicorn fought for the crown. So lion and unicorn are one and crown is one part of the sentence. So how is it related? It is related with the word for. So hence underline for and write that it's governing the crown. Similarly, rest you have to do in the same way.